Notice what is the last one on the list. I'm going to tell you the story. Keith wants to start a business. He wants to start a business where he goes around and sells stuff. So he's got his business plan all figured out. He goes to his bank, okay? Bank A. It's a very original name. First Bank of A. First Bank of A, he's had all his business there all his life. His home mortgage is there, his car loan is there, kids' college funds are there. He goes and meets with his commercial broker and says, hey, this is what I want to do. The guy says, great, thumbs up, I love it. Let me get some stuff. So he starts putting all his stuff together. Calls him 2 weeks later, he says, Greg, what's going on with my project? He said, oh, it's moving right along. He said, it's in credit committee. Okay, it's in credit committee. That's got to be good, right? So I call him up 2 weeks later. So what's going on? I said, well, it's through credit committee. I don't have an answer. And this might go on for 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Finally, somebody will call Keith and say, I'm sorry, Keith, we can't do your project. Keith is heartbroken. Keith calls his best friend, Greg. He says, Greg, what do I do? And Greg says, hey, you got to come to my bank. I'm at the First Bank of B. First Bank of B, my guy's great. I have my home mortgage there. I have my car loan. I have all this stuff. And we go through the same process at the First Bank of B. Guess what happens? 7, 8 weeks later, sorry, I can't do your loan. Keith finally swallows his pride, calls his father-in-law, and says, father-in-law, where do I go? He says, oh, you got to go to First Bank of C. That's my bank. Well, you know what happens. So he's gone through this process. It may have taken 8, 10, 12 weeks. The problem is, this is like saying, I want to eat fast food. I'm going to go to McDonald's, Taco Bell, KFC. You're going to get fast food at every one of those places. If you decide that you want to go somewhere where I can get something different than fast food, you can't just change the name on the franchise. It's still fast food. So you have to look beyond a traditional bank. Traditional banks are still struggling from what happened 6, 7, 8 years ago. And depending on who you want to talk to and your political persuasion, there's a great amount of arguing that can go on. The reality is the stability is more myth than reality. And there are a lot of banks that are still unable to lend money of any substance. They just can't tell you that. Could you imagine if you went to your bank and they said, and you said, I want to borrow some money, we'd love to let you borrow some money, but the Fed won't let us lend any money right now because we're in pretty shaky ground. Where's my next move? Over to the account closure department, and that bank would be out of business. So traditional banks, as much as you want to believe that every one of them is a good option, they tend to have to play by the same set of rules.